Welcome to episode 4 of Survivor. I'm Karen. I'm Felicia. Sorry, I'm Felicia. It's Super Mater Brothers time, and we're here to recap. Um, Dave's still, in the Caribbean, floating around. So it's just us. We got a Mater Brothers this time. We're joined with Jeff, it's myself, Jaemeel, and Foster. How you doing, fellas?
Good. Ready, to get back at it. I have thoughts about last week a little bit and more importantly this week.
Ooh, ooh. Foster, how you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Liking the energy tonight. It was a good episode, I thought. I really liked that there was two challenges. Oh, that really lights me up and fires me up, and I'm excited to get chatting tonight.
Okay, so before we get into tonight's, Jeff, let's get caught up. How you feeling about the ceiling this season?
Um I'm not like thrilled overall with like the season, but there are characters that I love. If that makes sense. Like the overall cast, meh, but there's like gems that are so good that I haven't seen on the show in many years. So like a Carolina, I jam a bit. I like this Matthew guy. I mean, he's so good for the wrong reasons. I mean, he's awful. I mean, everything about him is just like I just can't stand him. So he's
Yeah.
a good like villain in my head. Um, but then I don't like this Carson kid. Not a fan. Not a fan of this kid. I just don't like him on the show. There's a bunch of different things, but overall the season's good. Because Carolyn is such a star.
Okay. But I didn't hear anything about you know, a particular someone
Right.
that.
Sarah was stupid throughout this whole episode. She should have. She should have. All right. This is my quick take. She should have realized that the fact that Josh came over, there's a chance that he has an advantage or an idol. You don't just immediately go, okay, well, let's vote him out. Like you try to, especially when Jam Jam's like so set on it, you backstab Jam Jam, and you go to Josh and you get his trust, like Carolyn actually ends up doing. But she could have done it before Carolyn did it.
Uh-oh.
You know,
You know the words you're saying, affect certain people, specifically our super fan Sam, who proclaims that Sarah is not stupid.
she was pretty dumb, Sam. I mean, I drafted her, so it makes me dumb too. But uh like she did not play this episode well at all. Like, she one, she had a fake idol that she thought was a real idol. Two, she should have realized that Josh probably had an advantage. You don't just hope for the best in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's what she did.
Okay, so bouncing all the way to the end, my issue with what Sarah and Jam Jam were trying to do was there was no reason why, especially after Painted Light, that Josh was just going to go and roll with them, right? Makes no sense because even after this week, if they vote out Carolyn, it's 2-on-1. They're going to vote him out, right? Before they get to any type of merge. What Sarah should have done specifically was show that she has her idol so that it's like, hey, let's get out Jam Jam, so that there's at least like the target is off of her,
Yeah.
right? Right? And he can say, "Oh, I have my idol too." So it's like the two of them are like, "Let's work together." There's even more reason why for them to work together,
Yeah, idol
right?
buddies, mutual assured protection instead of destruction.
Okay.
And yeah, and even Carolyn could have went, but like yeah, Carolyn was even like struggling toward the end of the vote, and the whole tribal council like was kind of a lot of misdirection. It was fascinating to watch because I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen, but I was pretty sure that Josh was going to play his idol. So then I was like, well, then what's going to happen? So
Yeah.
you know,
So, okay. Um Foster, anything to say about Sarah?
Sarah, Yeah, first of all, I agree with Jeff. She played a really like this episode. She was played really poorly. Like when she had Helen and Carson, like that was the top of her game, right? Right when Carson flipped, like that was when the downfall, right? And then once Helen was gone, and then you know what I mean. But once again, she went out on a bad note. I felt she kind of did not like. I could see her being a return. I could.
Oh,
Um,
are you saying Sarah for second chances?
I'm saying that it's possible.
Okay.
I will not rule it out. I wouldn't say she's a shoe-in, but I'd say she's possible for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
There you
I
go.
know. I know. There's very few like if I was to today decide from this cast, like if no one wins and like COVID hit or whatever, right? And there was a recast, like I would say like Carolyn, right?
Oh, Carolyn's
Definitely.
coming
She
back.
has to come back.
Carolyn's
Yeah.
coming back.
She
Yeah.
has to come back.
Yeah.
I'm like, sign her up for about 3 seasons in a row, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
anything you can get from her. I think she's great. Okay, well, let's get into the episode. So we first start off with our good old friend Josh, who is contemplating, his situation, and says that he's in the middle, he's in the perfect place. But little does he know that both duos in his tribe, Heidi and Danny, and Matt and Franny, all agree to take him out. So he's was good as toast. Good as toast.
And I think he's in trouble going forward either way because I just think he's like the big target guy. Even if he gets to the merge, I could see him being like an early merge target. I get why. I mean, he physically he's intimidating, and I wouldn't want to get into a final 6 with him. He seems likable, so
I think he's likable in theory. I
yeah.
think I guess people can like him, but no one likes him really. He's never endeared himself to anyone in either tribe, I felt.
Yeah.
So he's a perfect person you get rid of at the merge.
Yeah. He's an early merge boot, and I won't be surprised if that's what happens with him.
Okay. Foster, any thoughts about Josh?
I thought first of all, I wrote one thing down. Josh is oblivious. He has no idea what's going on. Like honestly, like and it was interesting because even when he went to Ratu, what is it?
Yeah,
anyways, Ratu, the way that they portrayed him in the second half of the episode was that he was oblivious again. Like I understand what you're saying, Jeff, that he was going to play his idol, right?
Yeah.
Well, but once again, the way that they televise it, the way that they portray it, right, is that he has no idea what's going on, and he's gonna, use it on Carolyn, right? And that's what we're led to believe, right?
I think there's some truth to it too, yeah. But yeah,
it's interesting because it's at the end of the day, like I don't know if he could get the final 6, but I think that he is expendable because, like, once again, like there was 2 pairs, right? 2 obvious pairs in Soka, and they came together and we're like, we're not gonna bring you, we're not gonna fight over you for a vote, we're going to take you out instead, right?
Shoot the hostage.
To make our tribe stronger, right? Socially, right? Or not socially, sorry, game wise as well, right? Because we'll trust each other more in that way. Because they want to make it to the merge, right? But this is an interesting point now, right? Because we look at Ratu, and now they're down to 3 players. So
I think they're gonna have one more go before they do a merge.
You think that really? Maybe
one more go.
Unless, and I don't want the next time on Survivor, if Matthew's just gone because he's an
idiot.
An idiot.
I didn't watch the next time on.
Oh, you didn't watch it? It was basically
I came straight here.
Oh, it's I'll give you.
I don't care. There's no spoilers in Survivor. They do so much misdirection.
It's all misdirection. But basically, it's Matthew saying, "Oh, I really want to be here, but every day I wake up and I'm in pain." That's what he said. He says something like that.
Real quick, Sam. Sarah is not for the challenge. I'm sorry. I won't give her that pass. I won't give her that
Wow.
a stamp of approval, if you will.
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Sam. All right. Moving on. We go over to Tika, and Carolyn uses her fake idol and some red sticks to throw her tribe into a frenzy with a made-up clue. So, um,
I honestly, I'm really dumb. I thought it was production. I was just screwing with the cast, and because I was just like, why would someone do that? Like that doesn't make any like.
I think it's
so
hilarious.
obvious.
it's
Yeah,
so hilarious.
It's so funny because it's like you're right, Josh. It's so stupid that it's like this has to be production then. You know, you know what I mean? Like, who would think of this? And that's why it landed for me so well. I'm just like, only Carolyn would think this way.
All right, so she takes her fake idol. She takes a couple of sticks and buries it right beside a log. Um, and good old Sarah goes ahead and finds it. Um, bless her heart. She goes ahead and finds it. Finds Carolyn's fake community idol. So she's with that. Well, what can you do?
And
Well,
where's Carolyn's real idol?
she keeps it with her.
She just keeps it with her.
She keeps it with her. Smartly, she keeps it with her, as we see with Matt early, with Danny later on in the episode.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Can I say something here?
You may.
Thank you. I want to make sure, right? We, when they're checking how long has that been going on for? Just checking the bags when they go away. Like, is that like I've never really seen that much in the past.
They do it, and it's happened more in the last few seasons. But like, yeah, never so blatantly on camera like that. Like where like he's just, I just don't care, and it's just like, and I get it, but like, can you make this a little bit more entertaining? You know, like I just thought it was just like, yeah, I'm a dick. You know, like that's basically like his explanation.
I think
like,
that's Danny's like whole thing. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm a wacky dick.
Yeah, I'm a wacky dick. I have a lot of energy, and I got to use it somewhere. And like, he's not endearing in any way. Like to the camera, to the other players that he's playing with, he's just like, to me, I would want him out so fast. I would want to blindside him so bad if I was on his tribe.
But if you're Matt and Franny, you would want him, if he wants to take you two to merge.
Yes,
I'm
right.
like, sure, go ahead. And then immediately once you get to merge, it's like, hey, this dude, we need to get rid of him.
He will bury himself
so fast.
I think he'll bury himself at the merge.
Well, how do you think he's going to play his idol then? Do you think he's going to play?
Well, it doesn't matter. If you can blindside him and make him feel comfortable, I think you're gonna have to get him at the merge. But like, I think Jameel's right. You let him carry you to the merge, but I would want him out, sooner than later.
Yep, they're not gonna make him go very far. So we go into the challenge. It's a slingshot sign challenge. The reward is a tarp and a mini tarp. And already sit outs. Our sit outs are Franny, right, from Tika, and the man they call Kane.
My man.
The bringer of brimstone.
Yes. So this challenge was interesting because I believe it was Brandon, Laura, then Jamie, then Matt. But then Brandon came back to finish the challenge. Whereas with I believe it was Ratu. With Ratu, you had Carson, Carolyn, who took forever, right? Then Sarah, right? And then Jam doesn't even get a chance to shoot before like the other teams finish up. Carolyn just dragging the team down in this challenge completely. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. Just it was an okay challenge, this one.
Did you like this one? The slingshot?
It was simple.
Yeah, it's simple.
I was surprised Carolyn didn't figure it out sooner than it happened, right? It's a basic, just give him a terp, get a slingshot, come over for a couple hours, get her done.
I loved when Carolyn did the slingshot and she did that shriek. That was like my favorite part of the challenge. She was like, she scared herself. Yeah, it was great. It's awesome.
Okay, so part of the challenge is picking 3 people to go on an adventure, and in this case, from Tika, it's Carson. For Soka, it's Josh, and for Ratu, it's Jamie. So they head off for their adventure. Jamie is obviously excited to go because she wants to add more to her wonderful collection of trinkets that she's carrying with her. Right, and so they go and they follow the path of Lookout. They get to know each other, which we don't hear any of that conversation. So that was kind of, why even share that bit of information?
I think it'll be flashbacked.
Ugh.
I know.
Flashback. I hate that. Anyways, they split up. They get to their lookout, and we get this piece of information. So I'm gonna quickly read it out. You have an immunity idol. When played at tribal council, any votes cast against you will not count. Now, this idol has an expiration. Once all the players are living together on the beach, this idol loses all power and can no longer be used. So I want to read that specific part out because even though what I mean is when they're going to do one more episode with them separate, I think the following episode is everyone together, but
It's
not necessarily
thing.
merged.
They do that pre-merge thing now.
Yes. That's why they're saying where all the players are living together on one beach.
Yeah.
Instead of saying when the tribes are merged.
Yeah.
Right. So they also are not returning back to their tribes. They take out a new buff and they move on. So in this case, we have Carson ends up with Ratu. Josh ends up with Tika, and Jamie ends up with Soka.
I liked this twist. I thought it was neat. I thought it was different. They hadn't done it before. And they got to come up with something new every season. So this was cool.
Yep. And it kind of puts them in a position where they're like, oh, we can't necessarily put a good person on this or a person we want to get out. Right? Because if they leave, then you're going to be struggling to figure out who you're going to get eliminating. All right. It makes whatever makes them think is a great tool that you want to see them use. Anything that where they can kind of strategize. You don't want them to, oh, well, we know what to do in this aspect. We're going to do this.
We've seen this done before. We'll do that. Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, trying to break down the different casts now. On Ratu, you have Matt, who I believe has a real idol. And is it Matt or is it Kane who has the idol?
Matthew has a real one.
So he hasn't. So if we were doing little displays about each character, Matt has an idol and a dislocated shoulder. Carson has
a bruised ego.
And a bruised ego. Carson has a temp idol. Brandon is just a dummy, and Kane has, I believe, he has the fake idol.
I believe so.
On Soka, you have Matt, who has the fake idol.
Yes.
Fanny, who has Matt in his pocket. You have Danny,
Fanny has Matt in her fanny.
Yes. Danny has a real idol. Heidi is just there, and Jamie has a temporary idol and a fake idol.
How dare you say that about Jamie?
She literally, it said so on her lower thirds. I was laughing.
Yeah.
Tika has Carolyn, who has a hidden idol.
Yeah.
Sarah has a fake idol, or had a fake idol.
Had one.
Yeah, Yum has nothing except pooping in the ocean, and Josh has a temporary idol, but not after tonight.
How sad was Sarah tonight when she watched back and
Sorry, just a clarification. I missed this. Sarah also had the inheritance advantage as well.
Oh, what did that do?
I can't remember at all. And you see how important it was? They never even mentioned it.
That's true. I don't remember what it did. Maybe Sam can fill us in. Is Sarah is on the edge of extinction? Is that true?
No. Sam, let's not, hope for things and say it for it to be true. Okay?
Yeah, I think they would have told us when she got voted out.
Yes.
Okay, but like how bad was that for her to watch that back to go? Like she says, I joined an elite group of sad people that have been voted out with the idol. I don't know many people that were voted out with fake idols. That's an even sadder elite group, right?
True.
I'd
True.
rather be voted out with a real idol than a fake idol.
Would you rather be Gravedigger James, who had like 2 idols in his pocket, and get eliminated?
Well, that's another elite group being voted out with 2 idols.
Yeah,
I think it's only James. I don't know anyone else that got voted out with two idols.
yeah.
So
Pretty
the inheritance advantage allows its holder to pocket all advantages and hidden immunity idols played at any single tribal council until the final 7.
Wait, say that again.
Wait.
What do you mean allows her to pocket it?
That's
Does it mean that she could have stopped them from using it and just like taken it herself?
Could she have just taken Josh's idol tonight?
No, because I'll read it again and I'll tell you what I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first answer that comes up. It's like the big, the whatever, I don't even have to click anything. Allows its holder to pocket all advantages and hidden immunity idols played at any single tribal council until the final 7. So the way that I read that is that if anything has been played at the tribal council, then she gets that, right?
Like but after the tribal, though, she has to survive.
Yeah, after the tribal. I would assume after the tribal. It's because how can they give it to her in front of the, because she can't use it. Like, what if it's she gets more than one idol, right?
She has to inherit it.
Yeah, she has to inherit it, right?
So instead of it going back into the wild, it just goes in her pocket.
It goes in her pocket.
Yeah, but she got eliminated, so that it doesn't do anything for her.
Oh, if she just let people it goes back to my earlier point.
But she should have played it better.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Jeez. Wow, Carol. Wow, Sarah. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jam should have went home today.
Jam should have went home. Josh tells his new tribe he's a personal trainer, but previously Tika heard that he was a surgeon. I do not believe this man's a personal trainer. He is way too lean.
Who cares? This whole thing has to stop about their jobs and lying. Who cares? I don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a surgeon. He's gonna do well on puzzles. Not really.
Really. What is he actually a surgeon?
He is. He's a podiatrist. He's a
right. Cool. Like I just don't understand. Nobody care. It has no effect in Survivor. The only thing that really has an effect is if they're like a pro athlete. That probably has an effect on how you view someone as far as
or if they're rich in general. They're rich, and they're rich.
And you just know it just by if they're a pro athlete or they're like Russell Hantz was one of those guys that he had money. But yeah, other than that, everybody's getting by. You know what I mean? I just don't see why it matters.
Yeah. So, Carson paints Jam as the head of the Tika tribe, and then Matt turns around and spills the beans about Jamie's fake idol to build trust with Carson.
Yes.
Yeah.
This Matthew, man, can we talk a little bit about him? He thinks he's the most clever player that has ever played this game. And he infuriates me. That's how I feel about watching his game. I'm just so
Jeff, he trained for this though.
I'm actively cheering against him in everything he does in this game.
So both him and Carson trained for it.
Him and Carson, both those guys. I just hope they fail and fail hard. I'm on this tribe. Kane and what's the other guy's name? The
Brandon.
Much prefer those guys
No,
succeed.
Brandon would be the person that you hate. It's just that Matt and Carson are doing such a great job. Like,
Yeah.
this is the unlikable tribe.
Yes.
Like, I
And
don't.
what's her name? What's her name? Laura's just sitting there, just like observing it all, waiting to be picked off whenever the tribe pleases.
No, she's making merge, and then she's gonna do nothing, and she's like, "Well, I tried."
She's gonna finish 6th, and she's not, But anyway, like Kane is the other guy I kind of like on this tribe, and I'm hoping he does well. But
Yeah.
the rest of them, no, you're
Okay.
right. The rest of them I can't stand.
Okay. Then we have good old where is it?
Sokka?
Jamie goes to the tribe on Ahsoka and leaves her bag after being goofy about like, "Hi guys! Oh my god!"
I know. Yeah, you're joining a new tribe, and you think it's like day 1. It's like no, none of them are gonna trust you. She would have went home. She would have been the opposite of what Josh was, because I don't think she would have played her at all.
Oh, she would have played one of them.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. She has 2?
She has 2. She has a fake one and then she has a temp one.
Right.
I love that. I love that she thinks she has 2. Because do you think she's gonna realize that one's way different than the other?
I would love it if she played the fake one, thinking it was a real one. That'd be great.
Look, but once they tell you it's a fake one, you automatically take the other one out and play it. Like,
because you buried that one. You were like, yeah, and you buried the fake one, the real one, as if it was the fake one, and the fake one, you thought the fake one was real.
It's like, I don't have it with me. I don't have it with me. Oh no.
Oh my gosh. You tell one of the people that you have it. Anyways, not much to this one. We already kind of talked about Danny going through her stuff. So we go into the challenge, the water course. And this one,
love the water. Love the water.
Jamie sits out, and so does Matt. At the beginning of the
Wait,
challenge,
Matt or Matthew?
Matthew.
Purple Matt.
Purple
the
Matt.
one that you don't like.
Okay, guys, let's get this figured out, okay? Because there's some people, that need to,
Okay.
They call Matthew. They call
Matthew.
Matthew.
The long hair. Matthew is the long hair, and Matt is the other one.
They both have long hair.
Don't complicate it.
No, you don't.
Matt is with Franny.
Right,
okay?
Matt and Franny.
And Purple Matt is the one that we don't care about,
right,
that has a dislocated shoulder. He's called Purple Matt because he's
Matthew.
inconsequential. He's inconsequential. He gets the purple moniker.
He thinks he's so important, though. That's the funny thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So you want Purple Matt. Okay, well, let's go with that then.
I always see his name come up, and I just call him Matthew. I don't know why I give him
Matthew,
the French name, but I just Matthew.
Matthew
is what I always read his name as. It's Matthew.
Okay. So Lord misses the key and doesn't go back to get it. So Brandon has to go all the way back to get the key. Kane struggles with the beam, and Carolyn, in my favorite moment of the entire episode, shushes everyone so she can cross the beam and surpasses Kane. So great. I was just laughing.
Imagine her being like your mom, and her just like sitting at the kitchen table, just like pulling her hair out in front of you, because she's losing it on you. Yeah.
So on the puzzle for Sokka, we have Matt and Heidi. For Tika, we have Sarah and Josh, and for Ratu, we have Carson and Laura. Matt and Heidi have such a huge lead that it's not even close. They breeze through it. So it's Sarah and Josh and Carson and Lauren that are, going back and forth, with Carson and Lauren pulling it out at the last moment. And, they're jubilant in their victory. How'd you like this challenge, Foster?
Like I said, I like the water. The course was simple. It wasn't really like originally tough. I don't know how Laura seemed pretty far from getting there. She didn't really make that much of an effort, it looked like.
She wasn't even close. She looked so hesitant going for that jump. She was wrapping her buff around her hand, and then she just like she doesn't even jump really. It just seems like she sails and face plants into the water. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she was thinking. So
If I won, like if I was Carson, I would have been like, Kane, choke slam me into the water. It would have done like the and you like, you really make it work.
my
Really sell it.
my only note on it was that like I wish that not wish, but I like to see the course longer, right? When it comes to water, right? Because it really tests your abilities. I don't know like what their like limit is, if you will, right? But it'd be nice to push it a little bit.
They don't want this challenge going on forever. If this course was any longer, like people would be
Yeah,
struggling.
but they're not. It's not like it's happening right now, right? Like they can cut it and stuff, right? Like Jeff doesn't have to. Jeff Probst doesn't have to be on like 24/7 during the whole challenge.
After they
He has a
won,
commentary. Dig, woman, dig.
after they won, I would have loved if Kane just went.
Okay. So going back to Tribe, Yem Yem feels he's the target and decides to use Carolyn as the decoy.
No offense, Carolyn.
And of course it offends her, giving a great facial expression.
I feel like that's the face you make when somebody like pees in your oatmeal. Like it's just it's just pure disgust. Like there's
Right.
no other way. Like you get the Elvis lip go up, and there's no other way to describe it.
Right after she's like, yeah. After this, she's great. She's she's tired of it. And then Josh tries to work with her and says he's going to use his idol to save her, and they're going to both vote out Sarah. Like, just falling into her lap. It's perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's awesome. So we go into Tribal, and the banter going back and forth between Jam and Carolyn makes the bulk of this whole thing. There's not much strategy talk really. It's just their goofiness. Thankfully, we didn't lose like Jam and Carolyn, because to me they both need to make it to merge. There are narrators for this season. They're just great interviews. Perfect. So yeah. All right, so let's get into the voting. We have Josh, Carolyn, Jam, and Sarah all voting. No Sean the Dark, which is great because less of that, the better. And what we have is Jam voting for Josh voting for Sarah voting for Josh, and Carolyn voting for Sarah. Josh plays his idol for himself, so we end up with a Josh vote 2, but it doesn't count, and Sarah is eliminated on smiley face. Sorry, Sam. So that's it. That's the end of her journey. No edge of extinction for her. Maybe second chances, but no challenge.
Yeah, no challenge.
No challenge.
Like I once again, I thought it was a really good episode. Like I said, I like the fact that there's 2 challenges. I know that they're not going to do it every single episode, but it's nice to see that it's the first one of the season, right? So we'll just go from there. I'm just happy for it. With the way that I'm getting all the tribes and stuff with Ratu. Carolyn seems like she had a lot of control this episode, which was very interesting to see, right? She was on kind of the middle of like Josh talking to her, as well as Jam and Sarah with her as well, right? So it was kind of funny because she had all of this. Once again, it's kind of like, but she didn't ask for it, right? she's like, because then we go to tribal, and Jam's just talking and talking and overplaying it and overplaying it, right? And Carolyn's just sitting there, just so miserable, so angry, like so frustrated, like just stop talking, right? Because I'm gonna flip the vote on you, and I'm gonna vote for. I'm wondering if she flipped her vote in that moment, because it was interesting. But the other thing too, I thought was interesting was that why did Josh tell Carolyn that he had his idol and that he was going to play it for her? Even if he was going to play it for himself, why would he tell her that he is an idol? Because he could have had it would have been a 3-1 vote, and he would have used his idol, and he would have still voted out Sarah.
I think that's
So
why Carolyn ended up voting for Sarah, because in case Josh voted for Carolyn or Yam Yam, either way it would have been a tie. So that was actually smart on Carolyn's part, but because I don't think she knew for sure what Josh was going to do.
at the same time, the reason why Josh did it was no man is an island, and he needs to think about how can I use what I have in terms of resources to ensure that I don't have to jump through the hoops that I'm doing this episode. If I can build something with Carolyn or whoever from the tribe, then it's us two versus the other one, and I can relax because I've used that social capital with the idol to build that bridge. So that's why he did it.
So do you think they're going to go one more episode, and then they're going to go, like, they're going to split up Ratu to go to 2 tribes, or they're going to go to the one tribe?
Everyone's on the same. I believe. Okay, here's my theory. What's going to happen after next episode? Everyone's going to be on the same island, living together, but they're going to be 3 separate tribes. They're going to have individual immunity, and whoever from the tribe that loses, right, has to go to uh, tribal council and vote one more person out. Everyone has to go to see what happens, and then from that they're going to be merged. They're not going to do the stupid hourglass thing because that's played to run its course and it does nothing.
Oh, what's
Right?
that about?
What they did was they split them up into 2 tribes, and the tribe that wins is getting like a pizza party and immunity, but they have to pick one person to go to an island, like an exile island, and then that person has a decision to make to either switch things up so that they have the immunity goes into the team that loses, and the team that had immunity will go to tribal and vote one person out. It was stupid. They did it twice. It was both stupid.
That seems very complicated.
It's complicated and overtly dramatic.
Yeah, very wordy. Not no fault by your own, Jaemeel, right? But it's just like, it's like at what point do you get, like, what's the point of this advantage or this task, right? It's just like
it fills up an episode. That's practically it.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts. Let's go. Final thoughts.
R.I.P. Sarah. Didn't know you long, but you're this year's Ellie. It's okay though. We'll miss you.
She's in good company, Sam. She's in
Ellie
good
didn't
company.
make it to the merge, right?
No, she didn't.
Did. No, she didn't. Yeah, this is where the Ellie archetype goes, right? About 2 votes shy of the merge.
Sam, this is good news. Don't think of it as a bad news. If she got farther in the game, she would be a bigger celebrity, right? Right now, she's kind of in that middle ground where she's she's notable, but she doesn't have that notoriety. So you can kind of get in there, work your magic. Foster, thoughts on this episode?
Well, my final thought is kind of a question to you guys, right? If we end maybe on a little conversation, but it's just like, why, when Jeff gave the winning team the option to decide who was going to this whatever, right? But it seems to me at this point, it's always an advantage. Regardless of the outcome, it seems like an advantage in some ways given to you. right? Even if there's a twist on it, right? So like they picked
Jamie, Carson, and Josh.
thank you. Why was that decision made like that? What do you
So
think?
the winning tribe was able to choose. So that's why
No,
Jamie
I
was
no, no, no,
able.
no, I know, but why do you think those people were picked?
Well, you kind of pick people because you also want to disrupt the structure of the tribal. So you assume, okay, Matt and Franny look close, right? And uh, like, okay, it's either Josh or Danny. Chances are it's going to be Danny who's going to be on the outs, then Matt, um, then um, than Danny. So let's take Josh. Carson, he looks like the geek compared to Carolyn, who looks like the high energy person. Jam, who everyone assumes is in charge of the tribe with Carolyn. Sarah, who's fairly athletic and good looking. So it's like Carson's the geek. Makes sense that Carson's probably at the bottom. Let's send Carson. So they only have brief moments of like insight to what's happening with the tribe. So, their guess is as good as any at that point. So I can rationalize. I can rationalize the thought process.
And then how did they come to the decision for their own tribe?
Whoever volunteers, like they trust Jamie, so like
No,
they're like,
it was Soka who won. And they picked Josh.
no, the top two teams got to choose someone.
Oh, okay. I thought it was they picked everyone.
No, the top team picked the one person who they wanted from the other tribe. They picked someone from their tribe, and then the other team picked someone from. Oh, I think it was flip. Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, okay. But
If
yeah,
if
no.
we if we if I made a snafu, folks, send us a message in our socials, and um, we'll clarify next episode. Okay. I have no final thoughts. I've said everything I need to say. Okay. So see us next week. Now it's time to kiss the ring, and this is Josh. This is where you kind of like doze off and go to sleep as I pay the rent. So, Super Mater Brothers podcast that you were just watching that includes Mater Brother that you see right there. It's part of a network, United Federation of podcasts. And I don't keep the pictures on that long. You can look if you're watching on YouTube, you can freeze frame it, and look at the logos. I'm not doing the work for you. A part of the shows that are include Davan and Company's KBBBL podcast, which is a Simpsons recap podcast. They're just finishing season 1 and going to be moving on to season 2. They are usually recording on Fridays. Tonight was another episode of Hold Up. Hold Up is with the World Mind, Chris Murphy and Davan, where they take 3 movies, 2 pre-2000s and 1 post-2000s, and they decide if it holds up. Tonight's special presentation is about television, where they will be watching Stay Tuned, UHF, and Good Night and Good Luck. Andre does the Graphic Histories podcast, which is interview podcast where they interview artists, writers, actors, people of note. Great interview podcast. Please check that out. Andre also does a podcast with Davan, X-Rated Podcast, the X-Men Review Show, where they are reviewing all of the episodes of Fox's X-Men the Animated Series, and they will be continuing on once X-Men 97 starts later this year. Our friend and yours, Michael Chan, is with Alex Blackburn on the Hellbound podcast, a horror movie podcast, where they review horror movies. They usually record on Wednesdays. It's audio only, and over the weekend they usually do like a mini reviews on horror movies. So you should check that out. And we also do a debate. We talk a lot, and we have a trivial debate show, where one host and 3 guests debate on whatever the subject is. Our next episode is on April 1st, which is a WrestleMania debate where I will be challenging 2 other people, where I will gladly crush them in the dust as I become triumphant at the end. The guest host, is the world mind Chris Murphy. I will be competing with Andre, and I forget who the other guy. Jeff, do you know who this dude is? It's Ryan. It's Ryan. His name's
I
Ryan.
don't know him.
It's Chris's friend.
That's Chris.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but even if he's his friend, I'm still gonna crush him. So,
one guy's got a very nice sailboat tattoo, and another guy's got a belt. So
yeah,
I feel like the guy with the belt feels like he's already the champion. So you're gonna have to take him down.
I will take that belt. I will take that belt. And last but certainly not least, our cruise ship, our maiden ship, the flagship is Live Long and Podcast, a Star Trek review podcast. But it isn't just reviews. There's other deep dives and different aspects and divisions in our on that podcast.
Why is Dave the only one that gets an iPad?
I don't know. I don't know.
And who's got the phaser?
Okay. Why does Davan get the bandana?
Right. That's a good question.
Okay. So we review Star Trek. Mondays it's Enterprise. Tuesdays it's 9 at 9ish, D Space 9 at 9ish. We're gonna resuming next Tuesday on that. On Thursdays, whatever new show that Star Trek has for us. And today tomorrow the menu has Star Trek Picard episode 5, I believe. I think a Mr. LaForge will be returning in that episode. So check that out. And occasionally every month or so we do a radio theater. So we take an old script and then we rejig it and present it as a radio play. This time we actually did a comic book series based on Lower Decks, and it was presented a couple weeks ago. There's our cast listing. A lot of great performances. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait to hear my wonderful contributions in the finalized product. I was unable to make it to the live version, so you can check out the live version with the alternative voices for my characters, but the finished product will be coming in a couple weeks. And that's it. We've that's our sponsorships. That's all. Tomorrow on the network, as I mentioned before, we got Star Trek Picard review, and we will have our Big Brother episode, which will be a recap of episodes. I don't even know what episodes. 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Yeah, 7 was streamed during this episode, or right before. Yeah, I was finishing up about 15 minutes ago, and we got to catch up.
Yep. And that's it. Thank you for joining us for Survivor coverage. Stay tuned to next week. We'll do it again. And that's it. On behalf of the Mater brother, Jeff, the man they call Foster, Josh, and myself. he's the Josh that doesn't suck.
Right. The one that could stay longer in the game.
Yes.
I'd be happy if I made it to the merge. Let's just say that.
No, man.
Survivor is not.
Big.
I think I do more. I think I do better in Big Brother than I would do because I could be quiet.
You're gonna be in the 4. You're gonna be a top 4 finisher, man. Don't cut yourself short. I might make it to the merge. Come on, man. All right, that's it for us. And let's see if I do the outro properly because I didn't do it before. All right, goodbye.